My name is Vincent Sebastian. I'm the producer and percussionist for OYOBI.
My name's Daniel. I'm the keyboard player in OYOBI.
I am the bass player in OYOBI.
Hello, I'm Qlvn. I'm a featured vocalist and artist in the new OYOBI album with Atjazz. That's right.
OYOBI has pretty much been the culmination of 3 years working in the studio, working on that electronic, live, sort of traditional sound, and trying to develop that into something which we can also do live as a live performance, because we definitely focus a lot on the live performance aspect, but also have a studio project where we can create and experiment in the studio, use different machines and different objects that are around, lots of percussion instruments, and just be very creative with it and be able to bring that to the stage. OYOBI was based on this idea of using analog machines in cooperation with live instruments, and to bring some sort of performance into that. Now, who I ended up getting on board was two musicians, Ventoura and Danny Pliner, who I'd been playing with for 10 to 15 years before that in different projects. And I think we had a very good mesh, and we already were a bit of a combination in terms of the other projects we played for. We'd been putting on events together and doing things for a long time already, so it seemed like a very natural progression. And what sort of started off as doing a few gigs around town slowly started building, and it became a bit of a thing.
When we come together on gigs, we sort of have always had this sort of Latin funk kind of tinge to what we do, and so we just started to make rhythms up in the studio that we wanted to sort of jam, and then we just developed the songs from there. So sometimes they're more compositional, where we've sort of got a definite idea, and then other times it's very much comes from improvisation and the jam and the immediacy of the moment. And I think we've developed things on gigs, because we started almost immediately taking some of these ideas out to gigs, and really small gigs, and just working them from a live perspective.
The first EP we did was my own EP, actually. It was OYOBI Almost in Disguise. So we did an EP, a Vincent Sebastian EP called Satori, which we released with a London label called Imágenes. And it was basically the OYOBI guys, but me producing it, and sort of tunes that I had sitting there for a while. But then OYOBI started officially, and we sort of worked on the initial album, which was Translations. And that was a beautiful thing, because we got to run into a guy called Qlvn at that time. And I remember meeting him out one day, and within a week we were in the studio making music, and we just sort of hit it off. Anyway, he's all over the Translations album. We did a lot of music together with him. After that was released, I mean, we just kept recording, and that sort of led us to where we are now, which is this new full-length album, which is the Transcendence album.
I got an email from my friend Ocean Lode from Yoruba Records saying, you have to listen to this. And I had no idea what it was. And to be honest, I didn't know the name OYOBI until I heard the name OYOBI. I fell in love with one song in particular, as you know, but the rest of the album is insane. It's so good.
Being with the year's record, which differentiates it from our previous one, is it used a few more acoustic elements as well. I play piano on a couple of tracks. We have the Rhodes. We have Declan Kelly, an amazing drummer, beefing up the electronic percussion with, you know, more live elements, plus the live percussion as well.
When I was first hearing it, I was hearing so many different elements that were sort of indicative to what I grew up listening to as well. Like, it's like I heard some kind of Prince influences and some of that the production of that period, and so it was. I never get a chance to sort of play like that out at gigs or anything, so it was awesome to just, you know, to dabble at that kind of production and sound of the drums, dead drums.
I guess the music we do, it's mostly rhythmically based around Latin rhythms, and I'd like to say that those rhythms aren't pasted on top. They're like the heart of the music. And because we all have different musical backgrounds, but we all have some experience of playing that music in its more pure form. And so that comes across in the music.
What you're hearing in the music is very much crafted specifically from each individual and each person who's contributed to it. It's not just a hodgepodge of sound banks and samples and you know, audio grabs, which so much of music has become now, you know. And that's something that I'm always excited to share with people, is what OYOBI's doing and how they're able to take the scaffolding from the ancient, but revise it and remodel it and reduce it into something that's for today, that's something that's very contemporary, something that's very in the now.
Everything started, all the songs introduce themselves very well. And by the last third of each song, you've gone somewhere else. It's on a different trip. It starts to introduce 16 shakers and it picks up pace. You know, at that point, most people would start be breaking things down like, all right, we're just about to finish the song now. But no, it just keeps going like, oh, I've got another idea, throw that in. Oh my God, it works, right. So not only is it so exciting to hear something that is really interesting to you, but to have the opportunity to have a record label to release that project, it's a really important thing to look after, if you know what I mean.
I feel like is very much in line in my own vision of where my legacy as an artist is, and what stories can I tell through my voice and through my instruments, through my medium. So I'm very, very honored and happy and grateful and blessed to be a part of OYOBI and the soundscapes that they create, and the polyrhythmic substance that's brought about through their magic fingers and mixing and playing and bringing about these very trance-inducing and spiritually enlightening music that is way beyond popular music, that is way beyond pop culture, that taps into something that's instinctual and primal in everyone.
I think it's going to be fantastic. That's all I've got to say about it, really. I'm really looking forward to it.